I once again welcomes you all on the session on the herbal drug technology. In this session, we are going to discuss Indian systems of medicine. So let us see the Indian systems of medicine. We are going to discuss the basic principles involved in the Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathy. Then furthermore, we are going to discuss the preparation and standardization of Ayurvedic formulations like aristas, asavas, gutikas, churnas, lehas, and the bhasmas. So let us move towards the learning objectives. So you will be able to understand basic principles involved in the Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathy. You will be able to prepare and standardize the Ayurvedic formulations like aristas, asavas, gutikas, churnas, lehas, and the bhasmas. So these are the learning objectives which I have set for the topic Indian systems of medicine. We will discuss the introduction part related with the Indian systems of medicine. So Indian systems of medicine consist of the Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy. These four systems are there along with the therapies such as yoga and the naturopathy. So there are the two therapies are there and yoga and naturopathy, and it comprises the Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. Some of these systems are indigenous to the India, and other have over the years become a part of Indian tradition. For example, the Ayurveda and Siddha traditionally we are using in India, but Unani, which is Unani and homeopathy, we are practicing in India, but it is it is came from the other countries, right? A separate department of Indian system of medicine and homeopathy was set in the 1995 to ensure the optimal development and propagation of the Ayush. So Ayush ministry is there, and who is going to control, regulate, who is going to promote the things related with the Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. So here the Ayush, the A stands for the Ayurveda, Y stands for the Yoga, U stands for the Unani, S stands for the Siddha, and H stands for the homeopathy. Basically, the Ayurveda and Siddha, these are the Indian systems of medicine. And whatever the Unani and homeopathy is there, now it is a part of Indian system of medicine. Okay, we are using since last so many years, so that becomes the part of Indian systems of medicine, right? So with this brief introduction, let us move towards the Ayurveda. So Ayurveda, which if we can divide the word Ayurveda, the very first part, that is the Ayur, it stands for the life, and Veda stands for the science. So Ayurveda means the science of life. What is mean by the Ayurveda? Ayurveda means the science of life. And this system of medicine came into the existence about 900 BC. It is furthermore known as the mother of all healing. See the image which I have shown on the slide. It is a traditional Hindu system of medicine incorporated in the Atharva Veda, the last of four Vedas. There are four Vedas are there. We will discuss it later on. And the last Veda, that is the Atharva Veda, which is based on the idea of balance in the bodily systems and uses diet, herbal treatment, and yogic breathing to treat the human being. According to World Health Organization, Ayurveda, it is defined as the health practices, approaches, knowledge, and beliefs incorporating plant, animal, and mineral-based medicines, spiritual therapies, manual technologies, and exercise applied singularly or in a combination to treat, diagnose, and prevent illness or maintain well-being. So Ayurveda, it is nothing but simply science of life. Ayur stands for life, Veda stands for science, right? So with this brief introduction, furthermore, the Ayurvedic system of medicine is the oldest written medicine system, and in certain cases, it is even assumed to be the most effective than the modern medicine. No doubt, we have the modern medicine. Still, the physicians are rely on the Ayurvedic system of medicine for the certain diseases and disorders. There are two persons are there who contributed much more into the Ayurveda. Very first one, that is the Charaka, and second one is the Sushruta. So Charaka and Sushruta made a significant contribution to the Ayurveda. The book Charaka Samhita, which is written by the Charaka, and he was known as the father of Ayurveda. So Charaka is the father of Ayurveda, and who written the book Charaka Samhita. The Ayurvedic system of medicine developed an extensive use of medicine from the plant origin. No doubt we are using the dieting practices, but apart from these, there are certain herbs are there are certain minerals are there, which are being listed in the Ayurvedic books, and these are being used as an treat for the treatment of diseases and disorders. So in India, according to Hindu mythology, there are 4 Vedas. Which are those 4 Vedas? That's the Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. The last Veda, that is known as the Atharva Veda, and all these 4 Vedas are being written by the Aryans. So Ayurveda is considered as the Upveda, that is a part of Atharva Veda. The last Veda is that is known as the Atharva Veda, and Ayurveda is considered as a part of the Upveda, which is given in Atharva Veda, which is the backbone of the Indian civilization. So Atharva Veda contains 114 hymns related to formulations for the treatment of different diseases. Around approximately 114 hymns are there, which are given in the Atharva Veda, and which is being used for the treatment of certain diseases and disorders according to Ayurvedic systems of the medicine. So during the Vedic period, 2 major schools and 8 specializations got evolved, and one of them was the school of physician, which is being started by the Charaka, called as a Dhanvantri Sampradaya, and the second school of the surgeons was referred as the Atreya Sampradaya. So the Atreya Sampradaya, which is being started by the Sushruta. So these schools had their own identities, such as the Charaka Samhita, known for school of medicine, and Sushruta Samhita, known for the school of surgery. Right? So Sushruta, which is connected to the school of surgery, and Charaka, which is connected to the school of medicine. So the Charaka Samhita, that is in the 900 BC, is the first recorded book with the concept of practicing Ayurveda, and which describes approximately 341 plants and plant products used in the medicine. And in the case of Sushruta Samhita, that is the around 600 BC, was the next Ayurvedic literature that has special emphasis on the surgery. So in the case of Charaka Samhita, around more than 341 plants and plant related products are being listed, isn't it? And in the case of Sushruta Samhita, it is they are given the special emphasis on the surgery, and it describes 395 medicinal plants, 57 drugs from animal origin, and 4 minerals and metals as therapeutic agents. Means it is possible to use the herbs as for the treatment. We can use the certain animal related products. We can use certain minerals and the certain metals for the treatment of diseases and the disorders according to Ayurvedic systems of the medicine. Let us see the historical developments of the Ayurveda. So Ayurveda, it is attributed to Dhanvantri, the physician to the goal in a Hindu mythology, who received it from the Brahma. So Dhanvantri, who received all the things from the Brahma, its earliest concepts were set out in the portion of the Vedas known as the Atharva Veda. And the period of Vedic medicine, it is lasted until about 800 BC. See the images which I have shown on the slide. So you will get the idea how the Ayurveda it is going to be evolved. So in around 5000 BC, the Rig Veda and Atharva Veda mentions the various health practices and herbs like Ashwagandha and Tulsi these going to be mentioned in these books. That is the Rig Veda and the Atharvaveda at around 5000 BC. Then 1000 BC, Atreya and Dhanvantri schools of Ayurveda begins. Then around 1100 to 1800 AD, decline of Ayurveda, changes of the ruling class in India. So around approximately 1100 to 1800 AD, there is a decline of Ayurveda and changes of ruling class in India. Furthermore, in the 1800 AD, restoration of the Ayurvedic systems of medicine under the Peshwa. Then 1827, the classes in Ayurvedic medicine opened in the government Sanskrit College, Calcutta. Then furthermore, in the 1920, Indian National Congress Convention at Nagpur recommends Ayurvedic medicines as India's national healthcare system. Then 1921, Mahatma Gandhi inaugurated Ayurvedic and Unani Tibba College in the Delhi. And in 1995, the ministry, that is the Ayush ministry, which is being set by the central government. So these are some of the historical developments in the Ayurveda. So moving towards, with this brief introduction, let us move towards the principles of the Ayurveda. There are three major principles are there, and according to these theories, you can say the principles, we are diagnosing as well as treating the patients. Which are those theories? Very first theory, that is known as the Pancha Bhuta theory. The second theory, that is known as the Tridosha theory. Third theory, it is said to be the Sapta Dhatu. So in the first theory, that is known as the Pancha Bhuta theory. So according to this theory, all the objects in the universe are made up of the 5 basic elements. So it is considered as whatever objects found in the universe, it is made up of the 5 basic elements. Which are those elements? For example, air, sky, water, fire, and earth. These are the 5 basic elements which is responsible for the creation of the universe. And these elements are, that is the Prithvi, which is said to be the earth, Jala, which is said to be the water, Teja, which is said to be the fire, Vayu, which is said to be the air, Akash, or it is said to be the space or the ether. If there is any imbalance in these 5 elements, there might be chances of disease or the disorder, right? So this is about the Panchabhuta theory. So according to Panchabhuta theory, whatever universe is there, which is being made by the 5 basic elements, which are those 5 basic elements? That is earth, fire, water, sky, and air, right? If there is any imbalance in these 5 elements, there might be chances of the disease or the disorder. This is about the Panchabhuta theory. Let us move towards the Tridosha theory. So as name suggests, the Tridosha theory, there are 3 important things are there which are related to the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And that's why it is said to be the Tridosha theory. If there is any imbalance in the Vatas, Pittas, or Kapha, Vat, Pitta, Kapha, if there is any change, that may lead to the disease or the disorder. The human body derived from the basic elements joined together to form a 3 doshas, that is known as humans, named as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And these 3 doshas governs and controls basic psychobiological functions in the body. If there is any wear and tear of the 3 doshas, produces the malas. If there is any wear and tear in the 3 doshas like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, that may produce the malas, and when all these are in balance, it is referred as a Prakruti. If Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they are in the balanced state, then it is said to be the Prakruti, and if there is a imbalance, it is said to be the pathological condition, or that may lead to the disease or the disorder. So very first one, that is Vata. So Vata is responsible for to cause the movement and the sensation in a single cell or a whole body, which is controlled by function of central and the autonomic nervous system. So simply we can say the Vata, which is related with the movement and sensation, and furthermore, it is correlated with the central and autonomic nervous system. Related to the pitta, the factors which are responsible are the digestion, metabolism, tissue building, heat production, blood pigmentation, and activities of the endocrine gland. So these are some of the factors which are going to control or which are going to affect the pittas. Then kapha is a result of strengthening the stomach and the joints and providing firmness to the limbs and refreshing the senses organs. If you can see the image related to vata, pitta, kapha, it is possible to correlate all these three doshas with the certain elements like air, ether, fire, water, and earth. So vata, it is being correlated with easily with the air and ether. Then pitta with the fire and water, and kapha with the water and earth. Each doshas occur in a different organs of the human body, such as a kapha in a chest, as you know, pitta in a digestive organ, and vata in the large intestine. Vata or vat, it is related with the large intestine. Then the kapha related with the chest, and pitta related with the digestive organ. So this is about the three dosha theory. Moving towards the Sapta Dhatu theory, here we are considering the 7 dhatu, and that's why it is said to be the Sapta Dhatu theory. Which are the 7 dhatus? That is the Rasa Dhatu, Rakta Dhatu, Mamsa Dhatu, Medha Dhatu, then Asti Dhatu, then Majja Dhatu, and Shukra Dhatu. So all these are the 7 dhatus, and that's why it is said to be the Sapta Dhatu theory. So in the normal condition, there is a proper balance in this Sapta Dhatu. So in the Sapta Dhatu theory, in a normal condition, there is a proper balance in all these things, and imbalance of those dhatus cause the disease. If there is any imbalance in these dhatus, that may lead to the disease. The malas are the excretory byproduct of all these 7 dhatus, partly used by the body, and remaining portion is excreted as a waste matter as soon as digestion is over. Mutra, that is also known as urine, then shakrit, that is known as a feces, and sweda, that is a perspiration, are the major malas. Which are the major malas? That is mutra, shakrit, and shveta. Shveta stands for the perspiration, shakrit stands for the feces, and mutra stands for the urine. So there are 3 waste products of the body, that is the mala, the shakrit, there is the feces, urine, and sweat. So healthy condition of the body represents a state of optimum equilibrium among these 3 doshas. Whenever there is any disturbance in equilibrium due to some reason, disease condition going to be prepared. So we are considering the 7 dhatus. So if you can see that these 7 dhatus, that is rasa dhatu, which is going to be correlated well with the body fluids, then rakta dhatu with the blood, mamsa dhatu with the muscular tissue, medha dhatu with the adipose tissue, asti dhatu with the bony tissue, majja dhatu with the bone marrow and nervous tissue, and shukra dhatu with the generative tissue building, semen, and ovum constituents. So as I have said that there are the 7 dhatus are there. So according to Sapta Dhatu theory, the 7 dhatu present in the body, that is the rasa, that is the food juices, rakta, that is the hemoglobin portion of the blood, then mamsa, that is the muscle tissue, then medas, that is the fat tissue, asti, that is the bone tissue, majja, bone marrow, and shukra, that is the semen. So the very first one, that is the first dhatu, that is known as the rasa dhatu. So rasa dhatu, it is responsible for providing nutrition to all cells, tissues, organs in the body. Rakta dhatu, so Rakta dhatu supplies the oxygen to all structures in the body as it is correlated with the hemoglobin. It is also responsible for maintaining the strength, health, and happiness, and it supports the function of skin and the sense organ. Then Asti Dhatu, the main function of Asti Dhatu is to protect delicate nervous tissues, brain, spinal cord, and support bone marrow. So it is something related with the bone. Then Majja Dhatu. So Majja Dhatu is responsible for providing nourishment to the Shukra Dhatu. All functions of bone marrow, brain, and nervous tissue represents the function of Majja Dhatu. Then Mamsa Dhatu, The main function of Mamsa Dhatu is to provide strength to the body and protecting internal organs. Then Meda Dhatu is responsible for the lubrication and providing strength and nutrition to the bone, joints, tendons, and the ligaments. And the last Dhatu, that is known as Shukra Dhatu. Shukra Dhatu is not only constituent of semen or ovum, it also includes all generative tissues and stem cells in the body, which are responsible for cellular regeneration and reproduction. So we have discussed the three theories. We have discussed the three theories. Very first theory, that is known as the Pancha Bhuta theory. Second theory, that is known as the Three Dosha theory. And the third theory, that is known as the Sapta Dhatu theory. Right? Pancha Bhuta theory, there are 5 elements are there. Three Dosha theory, there are 3 doshas are there, which we have considered how they are going to affect the thing. And in the case of Sapta Dhatu theory, we have discussed the 7 dhatus, isn't it? If there is any imbalance in the elements, in the Vat, Pitta, Kapha, or in the any of the dhatu, that may lead to the diseases or the disorders. Moving towards the diagnosis of disease in the Ayurveda. So how the diagnosis is carried out in the Ayurvedic systems of medicine. So there is the Ashtanga Pariksha is there, and with the help of these Ashtanga Pariksha, it is possible to diagnose the patient according to the Ayurvedic systems of medicine. So diagnosis was based on moment-to-moment monitoring of the interaction between the health and illness, the disease possessed in the reaction between the bodily humors, that is the doshas, that is the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and tissues, that is the dhatus, 7 dhatus, and is influenced by the environment. The classical clinical examination in Ayurveda, it is called as Astasthana Pariksha, that is 8-point diagnosis and includes an assessment of a state of doshas as well as the various physical signs. So we are going to consider the various physical signs. We are going to consider whether there is any problem in the any kind of doshas. So let us see how the things are going to be diagnosed with the help of the Ayurveda. So very first one, that is known as the Nadi Pariksha, or we have to suppose to go for the pulse diagnosis. Then second one, that is the Mutra Pariksha, that is known as the urine examination. There might be some physical changes in the urine, maybe color it is going to change. Then the Vata, that is related to the Sparsha. So we are going to assess the nervous system. Then Pitta, that is related with the assessment of digestive fire and metabolic secretion. Then the Kapha, which is related to the Akriti, that is the mucus and mucoid secretion assessment. Then Mala Pariksha, that is again related to the stool examination. Then the Jiva Pariksha, that is the tongue examination. Then Shabda Pariksha, that is the body sound. And furthermore, apart from these 8 things, furthermore, we are going for the observation of the doshas like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and observation of the skin, eyes, hair, nails, and tongue. So this is the Ashtanga Pariksha, that is the 8-point diagnosis in the Ayurvedic systems of medicine. Let us move towards the treatment in Ayurveda. How the patients are going to be treated in the Ayurveda. As we have seen the various theories in the Ayurveda, there is a Three Dosha theory is there, Pancha Bhuta theory is there, Sapta Dhatu theory is there. And I have said that if there is any imbalance in the elements, doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or any dhatu, that may lead to the disease or the disorder. We have seen how the patient is going to be diagnosed with the help of the Ashtanga Pariksha or the 8-point examination. Right. Now we'll move towards how the treatment is given in the Ayurveda. So Ayurvedic treatment starts with the internal purification. Very first thing is that the purification is done internally, followed by the special diet. The patient which is kept on the special diet, then herbal remedies, then the massage therapy, yoga, and the meditation. So in this system, diseases are being treated, restoring the balance in the disturbed humors, that is the doshas, 3 doshas. So we are going to balance the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. If there is any dosha which is remained, which is being treated with the certain herbal medicines through regulating the diet, then the correcting life routine, and behavioral administration of the drugs. Sometimes non-drug therapies like a Panchakarma, that is 5 processes are there. You may know the Panchakarma. Then the Rasayana, that is rejuvenation therapy is there, which is being used to treat the disease. The various factors such as the status of tissue and the end products, environment vitality, then time, digestion, metabolic power, body constitution, age, bodily compatibility, and type of food consumed are taken into the consideration. We have to supposed to consider all these points for the treatment of the patient in the Ayurveda. So Ayurvedic treatment attempts to establish the balance between the bodily humors of the Vata stuff as well as to improve the digestion and the elimination of ama, that is the undigested food. So furthermore, Ayurvedic therapy often begins with the shodhana, that is the cleansing, in which the toxins, then the emotional or physical are being eliminated or the neutralized. Once the shodhana is completed, shamana, that is known as the palliative treatment, is used to reduce the intensity of disease and balance the disordered doshas. And finally, the rasayana, that is rejuvenation therapy, is used to maintain the health and reduce the negative effect of diseases. So Ayurvedic therapy, which begins with the shodhana, that is the cleansing of body, which is going to further remove the all toxins from the body. Once the shodhana is finished, furthermore, we are going for the shamana, that is the palliative treatment, used to reduce the intensity of disease, and we are going to balance the doshas. Then furthermore, finally, the rasayana, that is the rejuvenation therapy, is used to maintain the health and reduce the negative effect of the diseases. So in the Ayurveda, generally the preference is given to the vegetables, animals, mineral substances, or the metals for their healing effect. The metals mentioned in the drug were gold, silver, copper, lead, iron, along with we are using certain elements like arsenic, antimony, sand, and lime. More than 600 medicinal plants were recorded in Ayurveda, and it has been increased more than 1200 medicinal plants in the Ayurveda. In the treatment, moving towards the herbs, there are so many types of herbs are there which are being used in the Ayurveda, and they are going to be classified according to the 5 major properties. 5 major properties, that is the very first one, that is the rasa, which is correlated with the taste, then guna, physicochemical properties, then virya, which is related with the potency, then vipaka, that is a post-digestive effect, and prabhava, that is a unique effect of drug. As the digestive process begins, the food or drug is acted upon the agnis, that is the various digestive juices and the enzymes. We are not going to discuss much more details about which types of the herbs are being used in the Ayurvedic systems of medicine. Then the rasa is divided into the 6 major types, that is a madhura, which is a sweet, amla, which is a sour, lavana, which is a salty, katu, that is a pungent, then the tikta, that is a bitter, and kashaya, that is a astringent. And each taste is made up of the combination of 2 of 5 basic elements, that is the earth, water, fire, air, and earth. And each taste has their own effect on the 3 bodily doshas, that is the vata, pitta, and the kapha. Let us move towards the next point, that is the guna. So as you know that the guna represents the physical aspects of the medicinal substances. There are 5 major classes of gunas are there, and each class corresponds to one of the major elements, that is the mahabhuta. So if you can see, the anaksness corresponds with the water. Water is the one of the elements. Then heaviness, it is with the earth. Then keenness and sharpness with the fire. Then dryness with the air, and light with the ether. These gunas are generally considered in the pair. For example, the cold and hot. You know what is mean by cold. Opposite to cold, it's a hot. So we are considering the gunas in the pair. The second pair, say for example, wet and the dry, then soft and hard, and stable and unstable, and so on. So these gunas are generally considered in the pairs like cold and hot, wet and dry, soft and hard, and stable and the unstable. The next property, that is the virya. So virya represents the active principle or the potency of the drug that is being considered as a virya. There are total three divisions are there, but in the case of virya, we are considering only the two. The first one is a sita virya, which indicates the kapha varag, and ushna virya indicates the pitta varag, and the last one, that is vata, remains kapha. So in the case of virya, there are the two divisions are being considered. That is sita virya indicates the kapha varag, and ushna virya indicates the pitta varag, and vata remains the act as a buffer. So this is about the virya. Then vipaka. So vipaka is the quality, right? A substance takes on after it has been acted on the body after digestion. That is the vipaka. So there are three types of the vipakas are there. Very first one is a madhura, second one is a sour, and third one is a katu. So madhura, which increases the kapha, then sour, which increases the pitta, and katu increases the vata. There are types of foods responsible for the madhura, sour, and katu are the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, respectively. So madhura, which is being related with the carbohydrates, then sour, which is related with the proteins, and katu, which is related with the fats. So this is about the vipaka. Then the prabhava. As you know that prabhava is the activity or influence of the drug in the body. What type of activity we are getting from the specific drug? So drug may have the same rasa, guna, virya, and vipaka, but the prabhava may be different due to their chemical composition. As you know that there are various herbs are there, various herbs are available in the Ayurveda, or we are using. So they might have the same rasaguna, virya, vipaka, but they have the different prabhava. Prabhava stands for the activity of the drug, right? So this is about the prabhava. And last one, that is the dietary. So since food has a great influence over physical, temperamental, and mental development of the individual, and one should give more attention to the diet regulation in the Ayurvedic therapy. So food provides life supporting matter called as a rasa, which is converted to body components and supports all types of the life activity. So dietetics is also having some of the role in the Ayurveda, and it is going to support the matter which is called as the rasa, right? So this is about the treatment in the Ayurveda. Let us move towards the branches of Ayurveda. Total 8 branches are there for the Ayurveda. So very first one, that is known as the internal medicine. Second one, science of surgery. Then science of genetics, science of toxicology, science of ear, nose, throat, eye, science of pediatrics, then science of psychiatry and spiritual healing, then science of food. So Kaya Chikitsa, that is known as the internal medicine. Shalya Chikitsa, it is known as science of surgery. Then the Vajikarana, that is known as the science of genetics. Then Agada, that is known as the science of toxicology. Then Chalakya, that is a science of ear, nose, throat, and eyes. then Kumar Britya, that is known as the science of pediatrics, then Bhuta Vidya, that is science of psychiatry and spiritual healing, and the last one, that is the Rasayana, that is known as the science of food. So these are the 8 branches of the Ayurveda. Let us move towards the authoritative books for the Ayurveda. There are around approximately 3 ancient authoritative books are available. As you know that the contribution of Charaka, you know the contribution of Sushruta and the contribution of Vagavata. So the very first book that is known as the Charaka Samhita, the second book that is Sushruta Sanhita, and third book Ashtanga Hridayam of the Vagavatta. Apart from these 3 books, one more new addition is there in the authoritative Ayurvedic book that is known as the Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of the India. So 4 authoritative books are available. Very first one is the Charaka Samhita, second one is the Sushruta Sanhita, third one is the Ashtanga Hridayam of the Vagavatta, and fourth one, that is the Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India. Already we have discussed the details related with the Charaka and the Sushruta Sanhita, right? So this is about the authoritative Ayurvedic books.